gonna depend. Like I've been playing this deck, and it's not super resilient to hand traps. We'll just do the Crystron stuff since you said you have to go soon. Okay, that works. I'm gonna put up. I like this one more. So let me go grab everything onto. Let me go here. Let me go here to Notepad. Let me just grab all your questions real quick. And then this guy wanted to see the make a Draco sack with one cash name. Put that in Notepad. Yeah, I only have like an hour anyway, so like it's perfect. Um, honestly, Bez, which other question? Love look at star/hand trap. That part I'm actually not even sure of in this deck because like the interesting thing about this deck is like there's only so like compared to other stuff. Uh, let's see. Are you typing in? Okay. Let's see. All right. I'll go through it. Through your questions. Pure versus cash. So like pure definitely adds the pure well, like so with the so the main difference, literally, every single one of my cards is the exact same, except in one I'm playing 40, and then in one I'm playing. Oop, wrong one. Whoopsie. Other deck I've been liking. Um, and the other one I'm playing 41 because one plays the extra brick. So like the reason why I like the cash cards more is because they put more threat on the board. If you open a cash card plus combo, it's better than opening Speedroid plus combo. Um, Fenrir plus any normal summon in the game, under 1,000 attack makes full combo as well. I'll get into why like sometimes you don't do that though. Um, like the cash cards are just better at putting pressure on the opponent. Birth is insane. Like they're forced to like they're forced to stop it. It makes your grind game better. It gives you more interruptions as well. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like you can kind of do some similar things with pure. You can play Gossip Shadow was something I was also testing to like if you open the Terror Top plus combo, you can make Gossip Shadow to like protect your plays that way if you want. But really, like I just prefer like the Terror Top just doesn't have as much pressure as Fenrir. This card is ridiculous. Um, Fenrir plus combo, and you get to summon something off of Birth later, so you have an extra couple of disruptions. If you don't, like, if you open Fenrir plus like Ogre, for example, and that's how you want to combo, you actually don't get to like Birth will stay on the field, of course, but it won't make it so that you have the Birth and the Fenrir like interruption live because you have to use both into Draco Sack. One thing I was testing was a second SP over the Cerberus, but I'm getting I keep getting Chaos Huntered, and I want to have a searchable out because like unlike Malice, this deck if you get Chaos Huntered, you can make Cerberus pop the Chaos Hunter, and then you can full combo after because you could play mostly in the graveyard. Like you don't care about pitching, but like Malice, when they get Chaos Hunter, they still need to find a way to play after that. But we don't really have to worry about that as much because we get to just like use our bodies for whatever we want, which is why we usually make SP to protect your plays from Imperm and Valor. Um, let's see. Yeah, to protect your plays from Imperm and Valor. Um, but yeah. Random pure lists. I don't like 3 Tristaros. It like you're there's way too many normal summons. Uh, I guess the only difference with this is the fact that I'm playing the turtle. The turtle, so perfect segue. The turtle allows you to do a lot of combos. Like so, when you dodge with SP, for example, you can dump purple and green if you already have the other pieces. That kind of lets you extend even further. The more Crystron names, the better. Which obviously the third Tristaros is the same, but Tristaros is at 3 is only really good if you have another way to play. Like if you open Smyger Tristaros, it's not very good. You want to like not have that happen as often. Plus, obviously, if you open other pieces, inclusion grabs Tristaros, and you can start with that way because you want to solidify Tristaros' like first action a good amount of the time. Another thing I really like about the cache is the fact that like Fenrir plus Tristaros is full combo with a Vermilion Dragon mech, but you also need the turtle for that too. The turtle just has a lot of like use cases of like certain combos just need the turtle, and I like the extra utility, especially if the difference between it is a third Tristaros. The only way I would cut it is to go to 40 or to play more non-engine, which a lot of times when you go second, my siding patterns usually cut the turtle. So it's like an extra flex spot, but it really helps her going first. And this deck, like when you play the turtle, I feel like I like even without the turtle, it's the same thing. But I feel like I play through low impact hand traps like it's nothing. Like the deck just eats low impact hand traps even if they know where to stop it. Extra deck lineup. So cash is way, 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 way more tight. I think cash, you have one singular flex spot. You could consider this a flex spot as well, but I like having the Amirage, especially because it lets you keep Clockwork Knight for later. And if you open Ogre plus Fenrir, for example, that's only combo if you play Amirage. So the fact that you would go through Amirage first if you normal summon, because Clockwork Knight doesn't need a normal summoned monster. Because Clockwork Knight just takes any machine monster with 1,000 or less attack, obviously non-link. So using the Amirage first, except against Fire King, it's very random, but it came up yesterday. You still go Clockwork Knight first against Fire King. But that randomly came up yesterday. But I won locals with this list yesterday as well. So just for reference, this never came up. This came up, but I should have summoned this instead. I didn't even go the Draco Sack route. I just summoned Fenrir cash. I did like some cash plays, got nibbed, ended on like Tristaros plus Infinity plus Fenrir with Birth and and with the trap. It's just too much. Like this deck can play mid range so well. I don't think in the cash version specifically, I don't think any of these are optional except maybe these three, maybe. But I think these are the best spots to play. Like I think this list is pretty much perfect to me. For pure, you have so many options. That is one of the benefit of pure, where like you have all of these as like flex spots. I like all of these. The one thing I was doing instead is I was citing this, and I was actually playing a second Infinity and Nova, which is crazy. But when your board gets broken, like completely broken, having an extra powerful boss monster to make the next turn was really, really good for me. That's one thing you can do. And then I cut the Vermilion Dragon mech in this version because it doesn't really come up that often. I don't think you really need the 9. You can just make a 7 generally if you're trying to dodge. But yeah. Let's see. Because like but that's the thing. I'm playing the exact same deck, except all I did was add an extra card because the cash engine takes one extra spot, and the power of these cards is way, way, way better to me than the Speedroid package. I thought it was gonna be close, but the more I played with it, I thought cash was just way like I think it's an inferior. I think Terror Top's an inferior version. Because you play the same number of flex spots, and if you want to include Fenrir, because if you can stop them from setting up Twins of the Eclipse, which isn't always the case, but if you can, it's another out to detonator. Also, even if you can't, it's a thing you can pair to out detonator. So obviously Droplet does it on its own because they can't Twins of the Eclipse it, but Imperm plus Fenrir now can out even with they get to Twins of the Eclipse. Imperm plus Fenrir, which if Terror Top doesn't out detonator, but Imperm Fenrir does. Fenrir is just so much pressure. But yeah, going back to that. I think that the interesting thing about building this deck is that it is solved. Like obviously non-engine changes, but engine-wise, I think I don't know if I have one. I can probably just use this. Let's take out all the. I was trying like a Steven Santoli thing. Um, see this. This is solved. Like this, I think is the perfect Crystron ratios. Like I think you play all these cards 1,000% at this ratio. Then what you fill your deck up with left, that's what's interesting because like you're saying like the ratios with starter to hand traps, but there really isn't much you can improve on in this deck. This is just kind of it. Like Hero, which is like the main, because like that's like, you know, like my biggest comparison to anything, 'cause that's the only thing that I played. Hero has so many combinations of things you can do. You have so many options. This deck doesn't. Big difference with the prosp. It's just an extra piece of it can grab you droplet. Oh, I guess droplet's also not mandatory, but like, okay, so my bad. So it's these 19. The rest of it, I think droplet's insane. Obviously, in this deck, like it's better. Droplet's better in this deck than it is Hero. Um, but Prost can dig you to droplet. It can dig you to imperm. It can dig you to Fenrir as a breaker. It just Prost can, and it can double as a starter. When you open it, Prost just can be, it's like a wild card. The thing that sucks about it though is you can only banish 3 most of the time, which is the unfortunate part. You can go 6 if you really need to, but you're giving up on the cash package if you banish. But obviously, you can kind of tell your hand if you're going, because if you banish 6, you should see a starter that's not Fenrir, so it should be safe. I like playing the 41 with Prosp. I think this card's just too broken to not, and the deck doesn't have enough starters. It is very, very consistent, like really, really consistent, but I still want to maximize my chance for good starters. 3 general targets is usually the Chambara. Because if you're going Prosp, you hopefully won't see the combo. There is a combo that you need Chambara for going first, but you can definitely get rid of it. It'd be these. Usually, it'd probably be these 3. The Almirage, because you're not going for the combo. I still want Draco Sack for later, just in case we get to that point. But you still, like I said, you could banish the cash package and give up the flex part of the Cerberus, because these are the ones that are super, super mandatory all the time going first. And then these like are good, great options. But if you really want to see 6, this is your 6, I think. But yeah, to answer your question, that there really isn't much ratios. Like we can go into the math, but there really is no point because there's nothing you can really improve on here. It is quote unquote solved besides the non-engine spots. And the deck is consistent enough to see a starter, but some of them are 2-card starters. But I'll go into the I'll show now I'll show the combo. If you open, see, if you open Fenrir plus Ogre, for example, this is for so we can go here. You can go here. You like if you're going for this line specifically. Usually, I hold the Fenrir search for later, but here it doesn't really matter. We'll normal summon. We'll go Amirage. We'll link these 2 off into SP, target itself to banish it, and then we'll summon Unicorn. And then Unicorn grabs Birth. Birth will grab back Fenrir. And then you go for Draco Sack, Cherubini, and then you play from there by dumping Smiter, and then you do the 1-card combo. So like, this is where like the second SP I kind of like, because now if Draco Sack resolves, you play around Imperm the entire combo. So that's one of the things that I really liked about playing the second SP. But I mean, the insurance to playing around Chaos Hunter, I think, was just a little bit better than because they probably just imperm Draco Sack, which is the biggest problem of going for this combo, which is definitely an advantage to the Speedroid, is that it will force a hand trap early with the and like it can, like, the one card Speedroid combo plays around Imperm Valor, while the Fenrir plus any normal summon doesn't. But if you have any like if you open like another starter, then it's the same thing. And then the Fenrir cards, and then like also you can win games by just summoning Fenrir Unicorn. One thing I would recommend though, even though that line is possible, like I said, it gets completely obliterated by by like Imperm or Valor on the Draco Sack. So what I actually would recommend is, yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, you could just summon. I mean, you also just so this is one of the coolest examples that I'll show. Like, so like if I had a hand like this, now you can, if you wanted to, go for the combo, right? You could do this, grab Unicorn, normal summon, go for the and have a chance to full combo. But honestly, what I would do is, and what I've been doing is, I would just pass. Like, straight up. I would just pass. You have literally 5 interruptions, for example, right? Just no reason why like if one of these was Fuwa instead, maybe I would go for it because it's not actually converting to a disruption. But at the same time, it could, if they get rid of the Fenrir, you could put them under Fuwa. But anyway, and you just wait for them to out this. You draw a card. You might draw an extra starter to help you push even more. And now, when you go for like the Unicorn combo here, you still have, even if they imperm the Draco Sack, you can still you can still find a way to play after. Like, let's see. Go, because yeah, I'm stupid. You Fenrir, grab another Fenrir. And then like if then you go Draco Sack. If they imperm this, for example, then you, or Valor or whatever, because they should have some kind of interruption, you can still normal summon the with from birth, and like, than just getting, because the difference is you get impermed, you lost a hand turn 1, you lost a hand trap, and you don't get your Fenrir / Unicorn interruptions. So that's one thing I'm doing with the cash stuff, is like, it's cool because like you can play a slower game, like, because just because the way that some of the decks like are in the format, you can play a slower game with Fenrir and still win that way. Yeah. Uh, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, like, some of the things that I really love about this deck is the fact, like, if you open 2 redundant starters, so like if we open Smyger plus Smyger, that plays around Imperm Valor, just like for free. So if you open like an extra Crystron card, even if it's dead, it allows you to play through Imperm Valor, like, just because like a lot of decks, they open, like, for example, at least from what I understand, Malice. Let's say Malice opens 2 Dormouse or something. They don't actually get any more advantage from opening that second Dormouse until the next turn, I think. I'm not like an expert in it. But like if you open 2 Smyger, for example, you actually get to play around Imperm Valor. I just think that's so cool about this deck. Also, like, obviously, if you get Lancia'd, if you open a handful of Crystron cards, you can actually still do some stuff, set up some kind of interruption, while, like, you can usually set up, like, the Ella Skeletus plus the trap card, Like, you can still set up something through Lancia, while, like, Malice generally will pass, unless they have some kind of non-engine to help them play through it. But, yeah, this deck is, like, you can play mid-range, which the cash cards help. You can go full combo, like, so Vermilion, not a lot. In Pure, I think it's very, very cuttable, and to the point where I probably would cut it. In the cash version, though, if you play Turtle, and you open Fenrir or Unicorn plus Tristaros, that is combo. You could, of course, if you wanted to play a slow game, you also could do that. But the slow game, like, I don't know, like I think the combo of like, so like let's say I open. Also, like Droll, like like Droll rarely does anything to this deck. I love it so much. Like if you start Inclusion, you can do your whole combo under Droll. It's so cool. So like let's go here. So like let's say we open something like this. We can special summon, of course. I would normal summon first. Then you can go here, grab the birth. That way, in case they Droll you here, you could go Tristaro, um summon out Solfafnir. I think you go Solfafnir here because then you add back. You go Solfafnir here. And then you can combo that way, or you can summon Solfador, but I'd probably summon Solfafnir, and then you can combo that way. If you get drolled, or if like this gets Ash, for example. But what we can do is we can go here into Vermilion Dragon Mech, and then we can let's do this first actually. Doesn't play. You can only choose what to play. I would like summon this, so in case they Ash this, you at least get to start ripping apart their extra deck. Because if you can trigger Unicorn twice, there's a lot of decks that like you rip. I don't know, like Fiendsmith deck. We rip Requiem. Second go around, we rip the Duo Drive or something. We're looking pretty all right. We could also rip both detonators. That's another thing you can do if you get to trigger this twice. It's just really really good. Getting to trigger this twice. So this also, I'll say quote unquote plays around Ash, but not really, but you kind of understand. So then we're gonna go here, we're gonna pop, and then we're gonna summon 2 from the deck. I guess we definitely summon here. And then I guess you summon here. Yeah, and then Vermilion Dragon Mech triggers to add this back. And then, of course, this will trigger as well, and we get to dump 2. So we can dump, like, Fistavern, and... Spell, probably. I'd have to, like really review it to see how, like, we really want to do this line. Let's see. Let's see. I don't think that's right, actually. I guess it's, like, Smiger? Oh, no, I'm stupid. I had it right. Well, no, I didn't have it right. Yeah, you're gonna dump no. Sorry. Okay. You dump green and purple. It took me a second to remember. You dump green, purple, and then you dump green. Because green can grab get the Tristaros back in rotation. And then this can grab out, and we can grab Smiger. And then we can go here, synchro up into here. This can grab something back for follow up, and then we can go Solfafnir's effect, pitch to summon back. We can either crack itself or we can crack this. This gets Tristaros back, and then we can make another one on our opponent's turn. If we want to crack that and then effect summon this back, and then we can just overlay these 2 up into Nova, into Infinity, and then we can banish here, and this can grab the Inclusion, and then we can activate Inclusion to grab the Trap card. And then we can set that. And then here, like, because we played Vermilion Dragon Mech, and if they Ash, because, like, the only thing they can really do is, like, Ash Unicorn, which is, like, okay, we're going to rip their extra deck. They can Imperm Unicorn, but then that doesn't really do anything. You're only trading with the Birth and the Unicorn Disruption, because you can still normal Tristaros and go that combo. And if they Ash on the Tristaros Graveyard effect, you still have Unicorn and Birth, which does something. Like, that does, like that. At least you're not passing on nothing, you know? You get to rip once if they Ash there, and then on their turn you can rip again, and then you still have Birth to banish 3 face down. And then this, like, you can play, like, a slower game here. I mean, I say slower game. This is still insane. Like the amount of interruptions here. You can like on their turn. It's pretty subjective. Because like that's what's cool about this deck. It's not like just like here's what you do every time. You can either go here to grab back, or you can go Dawn Draxler for a negate. And it feels more resilient too. Like that's what I'm saying. Like the only the only time I wish I had Speedroid cards in my deck instead of Kashtira cards would be exactly the scenario in which I draw a Fenrir and a bunch of hand traps. And if that was like Terror Top, for example, I played on Imperm or Valor, while Fenrir does not play around Imperm or Valor. They both those combos lose to Ash, of course. The Speedroid combos, one card combo still loses to Ash, but the yeah, because like I guess I could show that too. I feel like there was one other thing I feel like there was one other thing someone asked, but I don't remember. I think it was something with I don't remember. Oh, did you ask about the C-Tree thing? Like how you like set up your interruptions with C-Tree? Like how you like layer your I think that was a question you asked. I don't remember 100%.
Sorry, I'm holding a baby right now. But yeah, no, it was more for pure because basically I saw some of the combos end on the C-Tree, the Tristaros, and Infinity.
Yeah,
Where some people were making Dawn Dragster like way early in turn one.
It just depends on your hand. So the best thing I've learned, I mean, the thing that like, because I like to like be able to see my hand, and I know exactly what I can do. If you have to use, so for example, Smite, all the one card combos, the best thing I'm gonna say the best thing it ends on, but the thing I'm doing is Infinity, the Trap, Tristaros, which is a fuck ton. That is a lot. But like if but whenever you start incorporating 2-card combos and you don't have to use inclusion graveyard effect early, you get to also end on C-Tree. So a lot of my end boards look like this. Let's see. I'm just gonna show the end board and kind of show how you like layer these disruptions. So a lot of my end boards, oh, I can't just special. Okay. So a lot of my end boards look like this. But depending on your hand, what you can do instead of ending on C-Tree is you can end on the same thing, except you don't have C-Tree on the board. You just have the Dawn Draxler. So I'm only playing one Dawn Draxler. I don't think Dawn Draxler is that good of an interruption at the moment. I don't think like Malice, a few of like the field spell plus Gold Sark's their extenders, but a lot of their extenders are Bestials, so it's not really good there. The double Dawn Draxler I don't think is mandatory, but usually they'll go through one spell or trap, and I want the Dawn Draxler. If you can set it up first instead of C-Treeing for it, it's way better. Definitely better, because if they start Bonfire, for example, one of the best examples of why this deck is not tier 1 is EXT Ryziel, because if they go EXT Ryziel, they dump the aggregator, they chain block the X, and they force you to use your Infinity Negate there. On the like, you don't even get to, because they're gonna negate the Infinity. So what you have to do is keep them off of X Ryziel the best you can. That's literally what you have to do. So if they open up Bonfire, I want to negate that. I will negate that 100% of the time. Every game, if they start Bonfire, I'm negating it. But being able to negate with Dawn Draxler is all the difference in the world, because then you get to negate with Infinity on their monster instead of being forced to like negate the Bonfire with Infinity. So, but the reason why Draxler is so important is what you'll see here is the fact that Quarion Gandrax takes 2 tuners, one non-tuner monster. So he needs 2 level 2, and the way this deck's axes work is you're going to have 2 level 2 tuners and a level 5. Obviously, Dawn Draxter's a 7. I've had a game come up where like my opponent was trying to figure out how I get to the big guy. Simply all you do is this card resolves, it's level 5 now. So when your opponent goes like anything, then you can go here, summon the sea tree from the deck, and then synchro here for the big guy. And if the big guy gets summoned, the game is over. The game immediately is over when you summon him, as long as you layer your interruptions correctly, which is the blunder I made in Houston, was because I didn't layer my interruptions correctly. But here, I'll show the other route. So basically, if you can make the Dawn Dragster turn 1, you should do it. But the combinations of hands that do it are usually like Solfefnir Inclusion. You know, like those kind of hands make the Dawn Dragster first. Or like Solfador include the 2-card combos let you make the Dawn Dragster first. Same thing with some of the 2-card combos from here. It really just depends on how your opponent interrupts you. So to layer your interruptions correctly here, it's very, very important to note that Seatree cannot summon Quarion Gandrax, because Seatree specifically says you can target one non-tuner monster in your graveyard, special summon, but immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon a machine-type synchro monster using only that monster in this card. Tristaros says you can synchro summon one machine monster, synchro monster using monsters you control, including that monster, meaning you can use as many synchro materials as you want. So, if this is our end board, for example, what we're going to do is on our opponent's turn, we're going to use Seatree. Usually I do this in open game state, which this is the weakness of this board, because if they start Bonfire, you have to negate it with Infinity, and then, oops, they get banished. Very important to note. They get banished, and then you have to summon Dawn Dragster. So for decks, which that's the problem with right now, is that not a lot of decks is extenders or spells and traps. Against decks where like they're extenders or spells and traps, this deck eats them alive. Like, it's crazy. But now what you'll see is Tristaros has to summon a monster except itself to then synchro summon. So what you have to do next is use Cluster, shuffle back the Seatree, then you can use Tristaros effect, or obviously you can go Tristaros effect, chain because you have a legal target, but then you chain the trap, shuffle back the Seatree, and then you summon out from the deck to make the big boy after you use Dawn Dragster. And then you get the big guy. And the big guy, once he hits the board, the game is pretty much over. And that's pretty much it. That's the I would say like the boring part. Yeah. Like that's the boring part of playing this deck, is that like there's really not content to be made about it, I don't think. Like, it's pretty solved. It's a cool deck, but like it's pretty solved. There's not much cool stuff. Like, heroes constantly evolving because there's so many options. Crystron, not really. Yeah. I definitely think you play Praziordle and the Fenrir's unicorn or stuff. I think it's much better than Speedroid. But again, it's not like, I definitely think it's much better, but I definitely still think, of course, Speedroid can win an event, because obviously it can, because the deck is still strong regardless. Like, I think Cash is better, but the differences, like I said, was the fact that combo plays around Imperm Veiler better, but the Cash cards are just more resilient, better going second, yada yada. But it's also the fact that you have to play one extra card. But I mean, I'm still playing 14 hand traps, I believe, 3 hard breakers, and I don't know what you consider Cash. It could be engine. It's kind of non-engine. Like you basically, if you want to count Fenrir, you have 20 non-engine, not including Unicorn and Birth. We'll count those as engine requirements. You play 20 non-engine. Yeah, I mean, it's non-engine with legs. Like, and in hand trap wars, the Cash cards are so busted in hand trap wars that like Yeah. The only thing that a lot of people do that I don't like is there's like I'm definitely not gonna main call by. I just don't see like sure some of your hands obviously call by helps your 1 card combo hands, but all your 2 card combo hands play into hand traps. Excuse me, really well when you know what you're doing. So like I don't like call by in the main. I think it's definitely a good going first side card. Uh, and this side deck in pure needs work. I like this side because this is what I've been playing. So like I've actually been like messing with this. This has never come up for me, not once. Like not a single time. You could totally get away without playing this for sure if you're confident, you know what you're doing. Like you definitely don't need this. I haven't summoned this card one time. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I'm playing this like you're playing the same number of non-engine here, except like Terror Top's harder to count as non-engine because sure it summons SP by itself. It can summon Cherubini without using a normal summon, which are very very strong things to do. But it's hard to count that as non-engine. It's definitely like engine, but it is a 1 card starter while the cash cards are not. But Fenrir plus Unicorn, so like one of the benefits though, if you open, for example, like if I open like Fenrir plus Birth, for example, let's see, let's put all this back. I would if you open 2 different cash cards, I would always try going for the combo turn 1 because like for example, if let's say it gets stopped, which of course you can grab another Fenrir here too. That doesn't really matter. I'm just showing. So like if I summon this here and then I go detach and they have imperm, I can still have burst special summon effect and I still end on something. So like that's the main benefit. So like there is reason to maybe siding you can maybe side more of like the field spell or something or maybe more unicorn, I don't know, but like I don't like you could definitely side another unicorn or something instead because like opening 2 different cash cards is like really really good, but I definitely don't want to sacrifice non-engine spots for more cash cards. I think 3 Fenrir, 1 unicorn, 1 birth is plenty enough to help you get more consistency. Um, yeah. I mean, there's so many cool lines with this deck, like crazy amounts of like cool lines. So like if you open Solfefnir plus Sulfador plus any card you can set, you play around Ash and Imperm sorta. Like so like that's pretty cool. If you open like that way, like I think that's really really cool that you can do it that you can do that. Um, if you open like I said Smyger plus Smyger, you play around Imperm and Valor like the entire game. So that's pretty cool too. Yeah, that's the Crystron deck. It's really cool. It's very good. The fact that you can like get hand trapped twice and still end on some stuff like that, just like that's insane. And it's mostly off the back of this guy. This guy is just so powerful, so powerful. Like this card. I mean, like yeah, so I'm saying like you can open hands. So like even like these games are still so winnable, which I think is so cool. Um, if you open like I mean, obviously the just opening himself is great, but you can like open hands like this and like you can win, and like that's why if you open like people saying Paris Toral's like a brick, like the reason why like I definitely think I'd always play this over is like you can still like go Paris Toral effect, and if they ash it, they were gonna ash Tristaros anyway. So like it doesn't actually change anything. So like if you open something like this, you could just go crack itself, summon Tristaros, and then like play something like this kind of game. Like it, I don't see ever like the only argument would be cutting turtle for more non-engine. I think the turtle for sure you play though, because like even if you quote unquote brick on it, the cool part is that besides Sea Tree, like if you brick on just the turtles at least Tristaros, which you can win games of just Tristaros pass. You play like a long game and you can usually. I think this deck is the best grind deck in the game. Um, I don't think any deck can actually keep up with this deck in a grind game, just because every single card effect is live every single turn for the rest of the game. Like it's just too much for most decks to handle. Like Blue Eyes is one of the better grind decks in the game right now, and I think this deck can definitely outgrind Blue Eyes if you can get to that point, especially because like you can go SP banish the True Light and get it out of rotation. That deck just falls apart. I think this deck eats Blue Eyes. I don't know, like I don't know what like the only things that are bad matchups for this deck are your hands that obviously that lose. There are hands that lose to Droll. There are hands that lose to Lancia. There are hands that lose to Shifter. But like, but there's also hands that don't, which is like I would say loot. Like they still hurt the ceiling, but like you don't automatically pass on nothing. Like some of the best decks in the game do. Like there's some hands of Ryziel that can also pass the Shifter. So especially Fiendsmith, like this deck just it's good. It's like really good. And like if they ban Dweller, that's like the biggest thing this deck's weakness has. Like one card I was definitely playing a lot was I really like Xyz Encore. Like really like it. There's not enough Ryziel at my locals to justify it, but like I think for the YCS I'm definitely gonna probably play Xyz Encore if we don't have a ban list before then. Because Dweller is just like such a pain, and if they resolve Dweller, you probably lose. The other scary thing for this deck, just going forward, is of course I don't think this card is very good, but some people do think this card is good, and if other people think this card's good, then that's scary because like it might make people play one copy of Lancia in their deck, and then they just search Lancia. Because if they set up a board, plus Lancia, you probably can't win. So that's another thing that kind of sucks. But like, I mean, it is what it is. But if they start playing Seventh Tachyon, Droll is so good into that deck, so good into that deck, like insanely good into that deck. So it's just gonna depend on what people play. That's why in like for Mermail and stuff, I think you definitely play Droll. I think there's a chance if they do play Seventh Tachyon that and it just becomes a little bit of a mini game against Ryziel, where right now it's like less so. Um, yeah, because if they open right now, if generally they're playing 44. I mean they're playing 40 cards. They have like a 33% chance to see Lancia. Obviously, it increases tenfold by them playing 9 copies of Lancia, basically, because they play probably both of these. But if you play Droll in your deck, you also have a card that now can turn skip them as well, which is like really, really nice. It just depends on. It's just going to depend on lists. I don't think this card's very good. As long as Bonfire's still at 3, which I mean post ban list it probably won't be, then that's kind of like the main thing about Seventh Tachyon. That's going to be the big question mark on this deck's success in the future is going to be how much Lancia is in the format, and obviously if you have searchable Lancia, that's even more scary. But that's like the main thing. And then there's some hands that like I said, you can still end on through Lancia, cluster plus Sulfidor. I mean, a cluster plus El Skeletus, and like that can also win games. You can pop, you can trigger if you need to. You can float back into Sulfethir. So if you need to block even more, and then Sulfethir can summon Tristaros or Sea-Tree. Like you can block 3 attacks. Like that's crazy. And then obviously Tristaros can like summon something else to like block another attack possibly. So like Samurai Destroyer, and Samurai Destroyer can float back into something else. Like it's so crazy. Like you can block like 4 attacks just for free. Um, and if Tempai ever comes back, we literally have an FTK. Like they they can't play around this card. Um, then also another cool thing. Um, if like pure Ryziel becomes the thing. So there's a lot of moving pieces where like if 7th Tachyon becomes good, you like and played, you kind of can't play the Fiendsmith stuff because the Fiendsmith like the 7th Tachyon locks you out, and then this card gets really good because you could just like obviously you Tristaros summon any of the little guys, so like the Smiger or the Thistevern, and then you can summon out this, and then this basically turns off the ice play completely. They go ice. Yeah, they go ice summon something. Obviously they go ice effect. You go Tristaros, and then on resolution you go Hygoisha. I don't know how to pronounce this. And then you turn both of those into level increased sticker levels, so they both go to 5s, and then they can't. If they searched X, then they can't even X because you have to. They have to. If this card is normal, so summon this way, control no, except because they control level 5s. So in pure, they have 2 level 5s. They summon X, and it can't search. So they literally lose like the entire ice push if they go that way. Obviously it turns to a mini game of if they have sword, because sword can obviously just summon itself, and if they search sword, then it's like because I think if it's you can't spell summon, but then it locks you, but that doesn't really matter in pure. So yep, yeah, I know, and dude, I'm hype about this, bro. I know, like so like so hopeful ban list, hoping that this is what happens. I'm gonna be like, this is realistic, hopeful to me, and this is just what we do.
Yeah, I've
Hopefully,
just ordered a Draco sack.
yeah. The cash stuff is just like the cash stuff is just so good, man.
I think
Like,
that's like the only card I don't have.
yeah, that's the thing. This deck is so cheap, like dirt cheap now. Like they reprinted everything that's money. I think they're 15 USD now, or maybe 10. I'm not sure. They are, yeah. Um. Oh, that's crazy. Um. Yeah. So like,